My dad spent my student loan payments on my brother's BMW, so I quietly triggered an investigation that blew up the family. Okay, so imagine this. You're busting your butt in med school, working grueling night shifts, and sending your own dad money every single month to pay your student loans, right? Then he looks you dead in the eye, casual as you please, and tells you he used that money, your future, your responsibility, to buy your brother a used BMW. My stomach absolutely dropped to my shoes. I swear, the number just screamed in my head, $3,400. That exact amount I'd transferred to his account over the last 3 months. And Mom? She didn't even look up from her chopping board. He needed a car, she shrugged. You can just pay more next month. Stop being dramatic, Vincent. Vincent. That's my name, but my parents only use it when they're about to call me ungrateful. I didn't argue. I just swallowed the huge lump in my throat, slid my phone out under the table, and refreshed my banking app. Balance? Lower than low. Upcoming rent. Groceries. Med school textbooks I still couldn't afford. It was all a blur. But I didn't say a word. I just walked back to my tiny room, shut the door, and sat on my bed. Then, with a cold, steady hand, I changed my online banking passwords, reset everything, and moved every single penny out of the joint savings account Dad insisted we keep for family planning. After that, I opened my email, attached screenshots of those last 3 transfers, and sent one short, chilling message to my student loan company. Hi, I've been giving my parents money to pay this loan directly, but I just learned the payments haven't been made. Please see attached proof of transfer on my side. I believe there's been misuse of funds. When the investigation started, the real car crash wasn't on the road. It was in my family group chat. It was in our kitchen. And it was in a small, cold office at the bank where my parents finally realized their golden child budget had just hit a concrete wall. Seriously, 2 hours after Dad dropped that BMW bomb, my little brother Leo pulled into the driveway like he was in a music video. The car wasn't even that great. An 8-year-old model, a scratch on the bumper, one foggy headlight. But to Leo, it was a crown. He revved the engine twice, just showing off, before turning it off. I watched from the kitchen window. He stepped out in his gray joggers, university hoodie, flipping his hair like the neighbors were definitely watching. Dad clapped him on the shoulder, loud enough for me to hear through the glass. See, I told you I'd sort it, he beamed. A man needs a good car. Mom leaned towards the window, smiling. Your brother's finally going to look respectable on campus, she said. Then she glanced at me, her eyes sweeping over my thrift store jeans and stained cafe t-shirt. Maybe one day you will too, when you stop being so tight-fisted. Just then, my phone buzzed. Bank alert. Low balance threshold reached. I locked the screen so fast my thumb hurt. Leo burst into the kitchen a second later, keys spinning around his finger. Vinny, man, you should see the sound system in that thing, he grinned. Bluetooth and everything. You can't be a doctor rolling up in that rusty Honda forever. It's paid off, I said quietly. And it runs. He didn't hear me, or he pretended not to. Dad opened the fridge like nothing was wrong. Anyway, we're all making sacrifices, he announced. We'll catch up on your loan next month. Don't go whining to your little bank app. I didn't say a word, but in my head, something shifted with a clean, final snap. Like a bone setting in the correct place for the first time. You guys, I'm 23, in my 2nd year of med school, and I work nights as a waiter at a mid-tier Italian place where the breadsticks are endless, and so is the stress. The only reason I'm even in med school is loans, scholarships, and the kind of stubbornness you grow when your parents keep repeating, "We're not made of money," while buying your brother limited edition sneakers. Growing up, the financial script in our house never changed. Leo was the investment. I was the backup plan. If Leo doesn't get into law school, at least we'll have our little doctor, Mom would say, ruffling my hair without ever looking at my grades. It felt like I was a spare tire. When I got top marks in biology, Dad nodded once and went back to talking to Leo about his soccer stats. When Leo passed a class he almost failed, they took him out to dinner. When I got a partial scholarship, Mom's first reaction was, "So, they're not paying for everything?" It was like that with money, too. Leo got a gaming PC at 16. I got his old laptop with the missing e-key. Leo got gas money and cash. I got, you can walk. It's healthy. Still, I kept my head down. Saved. Worked. At 18, I started waiting tables. At 19, I took every extra shift, shoving tips into an envelope I hid in my anatomy textbook. My high school friends were buying festival tickets. I was buying secondhand flashcards. Then came med school acceptance. Dad's first words weren't, "I'm proud of you." They were, "That's a lot of debt, Vincent." Mom's second words were, "Well, your brother can't take on that kind of stress. So, this better not affect our ability to help him if he needs grad school." That kind of help never existed for me. Still, they did offer one thing. Dad said he'd handle the logistics of my student loan payments. "Interest rates are tricky," he said, leaning back like a financial guru. "I know how to talk to banks. Just give me the money each month and I'll pay it directly. No need for you to worry while you're studying." And I wanted to believe that was a form of care. So I did. First year, I gave him cash. Second year, I started doing transfers. Cleaner, easier, with little notes in the description line. Loan payment March, April loan, May student loan. I never missed one. I juggled double shifts, came home smelling like garlic and espresso, and watched four-figure amounts leave my account every month while my classmates joked about just asking Dad to top it up. I thought this was my version of that. Parent help, just reversed. They didn't pay for my education. I paid for it and trusted my father to hit submit payment on a website. That was the system. It worked until it didn't. The pattern, once I started looking back, was actually simple. Me giving, them taking, reframing it as family duty, then acting offended if I hesitated. It wasn't just the loans. There was the time Mom borrowed my emergency fund when the washing machine broke. "You're young," she'd said. "You bounce back faster than we do." She never paid it back. The time Leo's trip deposit was accidentally charged to my card because Dad had mixed up the numbers. When I noticed, he waved his hand. "Stop being so petty. Your brother needs to network." The time my car insurance mysteriously doubled because Dad had added Leo temporarily to my policy to build his driving record. Every single time I protested, it turned into a morality play. "Mom, you know we do the same for you." They wouldn't. "Dad, we're a family, not roommates keeping score." "Leo, relax. You're going to be loaded as a doctor anyway." It was like trying to argue with a group chat. So, when I started med school, exhausted and terrified, and Dad said he'd take one thing off my plate, loan payments, I let him. Every month, like a ritual, I checked my statement. I moved $1,100 to $1,200 to his account. I texted, "Sent for loan." He replied with a thumbs-up emoji. I never logged into the loan portal. I was juggling exams, lab work, night shifts. My brain was a browser with 40 tabs open and a podcast playing somewhere. If Dad said paid, I believed him. Then about 4 months ago, I got an email I almost ignored. Subject line, important delinquency notice, student loan account. I was between tables at the restaurant, apron pocket buzzing. I opened it on autopilot, expecting some generic update. Instead, I saw, your account is now 60 days past due. Immediate action is required to avoid default status and potential impact on your credit. I read it 3 times. 60 days. But I'd sent money for the last 2 months in full on time, early even. I stared at my phone at the neat little list of previous payments at the bottom of the email. The last recorded payment from my account was 3 months ago. My chest got so tight. In the bathroom, with the smell of cleaning spray burning my nose, I checked my banking app. There they were. Loan payment June, $1,100 to Dad. Loan payment July, $1,150 to Dad. I scrolled back. Loan payment May, $1,100 to Dad. Loan payment April, $1,150 to Dad. My hands were suddenly slick with sweat. That night, I went home and asked Dad casually, "Hey, did the last loan payment go through?" I got an email. He didn't even look worried. "They always send scary emails," he said. "It's how they keep you paying. Don't obsess." "Yeah, but it says I'm 2 months behind. Probably a glitch. I'll call them." He turned the TV volume up. Conversation over. I wanted to push, but he was already shaking his head like I was annoying him. You don't trust your own father now? So I folded again. 2 weeks later, I sent the next payment. $1,150. Description: August loan. I told myself the email was a mistake. That adult life was messy, and banks were confusing, and Dad knew more than I did. Then came today. I was on campus, leaving the simulation lab, when Dad called me. Swing by the house after your shift, he said. We've got a surprise for Leo. I was tired, but I went. I stood in the kitchen while Dad poured himself coffee like it was just another day. He looked pleased with himself, the way he did when his team won a game. So, about that last transfer, he said, practically winking. We did a little reallocation. Reallocation? I repeated. He sighed like I was slow. Your brother's been taking the bus like some random person. It's embarrassing. The boy needed wheels. Mom sliced tomatoes harder. What kind of parents would we be if we left one son to suffer just because the other one is being selfish about some numbers on a screen? Numbers on your student loan payment. Dad finally said the line. I used it to buy your brother a used BMW. He said it like it was some clever life hack. My ears were ringing. What about the loan? I asked. My voice sounded strange, thin, like it was coming from the hallway. We'll deal with it next month. He waved me off. You worry too much. You're in med school. You'll make it back in what? 1 month of salary. Mom finally turned. Knife in her hand. Eyes annoyed. Honestly, Vincent, the way you cling to money is ugly. Your brother needs a leg up. You have your degree. You'll be fine. I'd heard versions of those sentences my whole life. This time, they didn't land the same. This time, I saw them for what they were. Not confusion. Not generational differences. Just theft. Entitlement dressed up as parenting. My phone buzzed again. Another email from the loan company flooded the top of my screen. Notice, your loan is now 90 days past due. 90 days. My brother whistled from the driveway. The BMW engine purred. The last straw wasn't the car. It wasn't even the money. It was the way Dad smiled as he said it. Like I should be proud he'd managed to convert my future into a down payment on Leo's Instagram aesthetic. That was the exact moment something in me stopped begging to be seen as the good son and started calmly, mechanically building an exit. I didn't make a speech. I didn't flip the table or scream or demand they apologize. I walked to my room, closed the door, and sat on the edge of my bed with my laptop. First, I opened my banking app. Joint family savings account, $2,378. Mainly my tips from the last few months, parked there because Dad said it looks better to the bank when everything's together. My personal checking, $214. My pathetic savings, $63. I moved everything out of the joint account in 3 taps. Transfer $2,378. My personal. A little message popped up. Are you sure you want to transfer all funds? Yes. Next. I changed both passwords. Logged out of every device. Removed Dad as an authorized user. Turned on every security feature the app offered. Then I checked the history. I'd never looked closely before. There they were. Monthly transfers from my checking to the joint account. And from the joint account, all kinds of things. $600 to a dealership last week. $350 to an electronics store 2 months ago. $120 online purchase with Leo's name in the memo. Nowhere in the last 3 months was a payment to my loan company. My stomach twisted. I took screenshots of everything. Next step, my loan portal. I had to dig up the original welcome email from my first year. I'd never logged in after setting up autopay with Dad. Password reset. Security questions. Mother's maiden name. The irony stunk. When I finally got in, the dashboard hit me like cold water. Status, delinquent. 90 days. Next step, account may be sent to collections. And a neat list of recent payments that ended exactly 3 months ago. Every page I clicked had a giant red banner. Action required. I took more screenshots. Then I opened a new email. No overthinking, no rewriting. I typed like my hands belonged to someone else. Hi, I just reviewed my account and realized my recent payments were never received on your end. I have been transferring funds monthly to my parents who assured me they were paying the loan directly. Please see attached proof of my payments, bank transfers labeled loan for the past few months. I would like to dispute the delinquency status and set up direct payments from my account going forward. I am a full-time medical student and am extremely concerned. I'm happy to cooperate fully with any investigation into where these funds actually went. Attach. 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 Send. Only then did I stand up. Only then did I open the door. Dad was in the living room now, watching a game. Mom was scrolling through her phone, showing Leo car accessories. Hey, I said. 3 heads turned. Oh, now you want to be part of the family, Mom sighed. I logged into my loan account, I said, keeping my tone flat. It's 90 days delinquent. They never got the payments. Dad rolled his eyes. I told you it's a glitch. They always try to. I saw the payment history, I cut in. Nothing for 3 months. I also saw the dealership charge from our joint account. For a split second, his face changed. Just a flicker. Then the mask dropped back on. We'll pay it next month, he snapped. Stop acting like we're criminals. It's our money too. You live here for free. I pay rent, I said. In cash every month. Mom laughed. Oh, that little bit? That doesn't cover your share. I work full-time and go to med school. I've given you thousands this year. You are such a drama queen, she said. Everything is always so big with you. Leo looked uncomfortable. Guys, seriously, it's not a big deal. I'll give him rides to the hospital when he's a doctor. See, family helping family. I looked at him. You know where that car came from? He shrugged. Dad said he had it handled. Dad pointed a finger at me. You are not going to guilt your brother over a car. You are not going to turn this into one of your martyr stories. I've been managing money since before you were born. Yeah, I said quietly. I noticed. Mom stood up. Vincent, we used some of your funds for a family need. That loan is in your name. It's your responsibility. You can't dump everything on us just because you chose an expensive degree. I realized then that we were living in 2 completely different realities. In theirs, they had reallocated my money for the good of the favorite son, and I should be grateful they were even considering paying my loan at all. In mine, they had stolen loan payments, lied, and then called me selfish for noticing. I took a breath. Okay, I said. Here's what's going to happen. Dad snorted. Oh, here we go. The big man with a plan. I've already moved my money out of the joint account, I said. I changed my banking passwords and removed your access. From now on, I will pay my loan directly. Mom's mouth fell open. Excuse me. And I added, I emailed the loan company. I sent them screenshots of all the payments I made to you, labeled as loan payments, and the missing payments on their side. They're starting an investigation. The room went dead quiet. What did you do? Dad's voice dropped. Low and dangerous. I told the truth, I said. They're going to call me eventually. They might call you. Mom stepped forward. You're going to ruin everything, she hissed. Do you have any idea how this could make us look? They could say we committed fraud. You took my loan money and bought Leo a car, I said. That is fraud. It was a family decision. Dad snapped. I never agreed. He jabbed a finger at my chest. You listen to me. You will email them back and say it was a misunderstanding. You will tell them you gave us that money as a gift. No, I said. The word surprised even me. How small it was, how solid. No, Mom repeated like I'd spoken in tongues. Vincent, we raised you. We gave you everything. You kicked in maybe 2% of my education and 98% of my anxiety, I thought out loud. You gave Leo everything. You borrowed from me constantly without asking. And when I tried to talk about it, you called me selfish. That ends today. Dad took a step closer, trying to loom. You think you're better than us because you read some textbook, huh? You think a little lab coat makes you a hero. I think I'm done, I said. Done with what? With being your ATM. With trusting you with anything that can destroy my future. Leo finally spoke up. Bro, you're overreacting. It's just money. The car is already bought. You can keep the car, I cut in. I don't care. Mom scoffed. See, he wants us to look like thieves. He wants to humiliate us. That hit something old in me. The kid who used to apologize for crying when Dad yelled. The teenager who apologized for asking why Leo got a car and I didn't. But that kid wasn't holding the wheel anymore. I'm not trying to humiliate anyone, I said. I'm trying not to default on a loan that can follow me for the rest of my life. Dad's voice went cold. If you do this, if you drag us through the mud with some investigation, do not expect us to be there when you fall. Don't come crying when you need help. I never had your help, I said. Only your bills. We stared at each other. He waited for me to back down. I always had before. I didn't. Finally, he pointed toward the door. Get out of my house if you're going to betray your own family. I nodded. Okay. Vinny, Leo said, half standing. You don't really have to, but I was already heading to my room. I packed in 10 minutes. Laptop, scrubs, a few textbooks, work shoes, the crumpled hoodie I used as a pillow during night shifts. Mom followed me, whispering sharp and fast. If you walk out now, don't think you can just walk back in when your fancy bank friends are done with you. They'll use you and drop you, and we'll be the only ones who ever truly loved you. I zipped my duffel. You loved what I gave you, I said. Not me. She flinched like I'd slapped her. Then she said the line she'd been building toward the whole time. Fine, she spat. We'll tell the relatives you stole from us. Let's see whose side they take. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel sick at that threat. Tell them whatever makes you feel better, I said. I'm done explaining. I walked through the living room with my bag on my shoulder. Dad didn't look at me. Leo did. Bro, he started. Enjoy the car, I said. And I meant it in a strange way. The car was a perfect symbol of what they'd chosen. Let them have it. I walked out the door and into the humid night. At the curb, I opened my phone and blocked the family group chat. For the first time in years, my notifications were quiet. The fallout wasn't cinematic. No cops, no courtroom, just emails, phone calls, and bad hold music. 2 days later, the loan company replied. They paused collections while they reviewed my documents and could re-age the account if I proved I tried to pay. I sent everything, screenshots, memo lines, even a photo of the old loan sticky note. They passed me to fraud and hardship. Denise called during my break. I'm sorry you're going through this, she said. Then set me up on an income-driven plan. Late fees shrank. The red banners turned green. From now on, keep full control of your loan payments, she added. Yeah, I said. I figured that out. Housing sorted itself. Maya's couch for a bit, then a tiny studio near the hospital. Cracked tiles, noisy pipes, used mattress, milk crate shelves. Lonely, scared, broke, but light. I blocked the family chat. Only Leo's texts slipped through. Mom's freaking out. Just say it was a misunderstanding. Dad says you're being dramatic. They think you're trying to get them arrested. That true. I didn't answer. Before cutting contact, I sent one last message. I'm not trying to get anyone arrested. I'm protecting my future. You used my loan payments and lied about it. I won't discuss this further. Don't contact me unless it's to acknowledge what you did and how you'll fix it. No reply. That was the reply. Weeks became months. I lived on what I earned. No family reallocations. My payments went straight to the loan company. Each one gave me a sharp little hit of pride. On bad hospital days, the thought helped, at least they can't touch my money anymore. Sometimes, half asleep after a shift, I'd see Leo posting with the BMW. New tint, new rims, grind never stops. Anger flared, then faded. I'd look at my cramped studio instead. Textbooks, chipped mug, laptop with cardio lectures. All mine. No invisible hands. One shift, Maya slid into my booth. Guess who I just served, she said. Your parents and Leo, complaining about how some people don't appreciate what their parents do. My stomach dropped. I didn't say a word, she said. Your mom was ranting about those loan people treating us like criminals, and we only used our son's money to help his brother. Of course, their version wrote itself. For what it's worth, Maya added, you did the right thing. My cousin didn't, and he's still drowning in his parents' debt. Maybe in their world, I was the greedy son who sicked bankers on innocent parents. They could keep that story. I had mine. Near semester's end, an email from Leo appeared. Sorry. He'd snooped on Mom's laptop, saw the missing payments. "You were right," he wrote. "They used the money on his car and other things. Kept saying they'd fix it next month and never did. He wasn't giving the car back. The investigation was making Dad's life hell. He didn't know how to fix it. He just wanted me to know I wasn't crazy. No apology, no offer to help." But for the first time, someone in that house wrote, "You were right." I read it a few times, then archived it. Not deleted, not treasured. Just filed away. Life moved on. Exams, 90-minute naps, a sick kid grinning because I remembered his favorite cartoon. On dawn walks home, passing rows of cars, BMWs among them, I barely felt a twinge. Because it wasn't about the car or the interest anymore. It was this. For the first time, my future was actually mine. Not a pawn in my parents' hierarchy, not a pool they could reallocate for the golden child. Just mine. One evening in the library, a first year groaned beside me. "My dad wants access to my school account so he can manage my loans, says it'll be easier." Is that normal? "I don't know what's normal," I said. "But I know this. No one will care about protecting your future as much as you do. Keep control. Set boundaries. Even with family, especially with family." He nodded. "My parents still haven't admitted what they did. Maybe they never will. But my loan is current. My accounts are mine. Where my sacrifices go now is my choice. And honestly, that's worth more than any BMW."